Hello, and welcome to Pub and Fig. In this episode, I'm going to go over some information you should know before you watch Captain Marvel. Now, this is going to be spoiler-free, so none of the movie will be ruined for you. I hope you enjoy. Okay, so to start off, I'm going to go over with who is Captain Marvel. So, this isn't going to be like Darth Vader, to where it was a major surprising reveal when we found out who he was. Nothing like that. This isn't going to be no, I'll find out for myself. It's okay to know who Captain Marvel is. It's completely innocent and won't ruin anything for you. So, Captain Marvel's real name is Carol Danvers. She is a human, and she was a pilot. And now, she has alien powers. That's all you really need to know. Okay, the second point is, when does this movie take place? So, like some Marvel movies take place one after another, stuff like that. This movie does not do that. This movie will take place in the 1990s. So, I will say this, we are going to see younger versions of some characters we already know. That's all I'm going to say for those of you that don't want to get spoiled. Okay? And it's completely reasonable because it is like 20 years, well, almost 30 years now, into the past. So, yeah, that's all I'm going to say for when it takes place. But I will also say this. This is going to take place in the Kree Skrull War. And this is an actual event in the comics. And it is given by the name, the Kree and the Skrulls. So, who are the Kree? Or, what are the Kree? So, the Kree are a powerful force that are from space. For those of you that have seen most of the Marvel movies, you probably would recognize them from the first Guardians of the Galaxy. Those were the antagonists of that movie. And they were led by Ronan the Accuser. Now, in this movie, I'm just going to say this. This isn't completely spoiler stuff. They will be dressed in green in this film. Why is this done? Well, that is more of their color scheme within the comics. Like, Ronan the Accuser in the comics was in a more green outfit opposed to the black outfit he had in the first Guardians of the Galaxy film. So, it's just going to take more of a comic turn with not only this comic event or this comic character, Captain Marvel, but also with how some of the things will look, such as how the Kree will look, in their green outfits, or maybe even some of their ships. And speaking of comic-related things, let's get into what are the Skrulls. So Skrulls, unlike the Kree, we have never seen before. So, Skrulls, what are Skrulls? So, they are also from space, they are another powerful nation, and they are green-skinned. So, the Kree are green-uniformed, the Skrulls are green-skinned. I'm not being racist, because they do actually kind of look like goblins a little bit with their pointy ears. But anyway, so Skrulls. So the Kree might have more technological advancements than the Skrulls. That's not really going to spoil anything. But the Skrulls can shapeshift. They have actual powers. So what do I mean by shapeshifting? Well, they can look like other humans, or look like other aliens, or look like other sentient life forms. I don't think they can turn into animals, but if they can, I can see how. But yeah, they can pretty much turn into other humanoids at least. Why is this important? Well, you might not know what's a Skrull until maybe like the last second or something, because they can shapeshift. We've seen this in the trailers. I'm not going to show it for those of you that don't want to get spoiled by the trailers. That's why I'm not going to show it right now. But Skrulls can shapeshift and look like other people, random people and stuff like that. So now I'm going to talk about the storytelling, or how the story is going to be told out. So Marvel, at least when it comes to introducing a new character, they've done a kind of special schedule or routine or a way of how they do it. So I'll just take the first Iron Man movie for example. So we meet this guy named Tony Stark. He's a billionaire and he sells weapons. And then he gets attacked by terrorists. This bad thing happens and he's taken by the terrorists. He escapes the terrorists, makes a fancy high-tech suit, and then defeats the terrorists. Technically it's temporarily, but still, he defeats them at the moment. Another example is the Thor movie. The first Thor movie, not Dark World or Ragnarok. So, we learn of this guy. His name is Thor. He's the god of thunder from Norse mythology. He is apparently unresponsible, so he loses all of his powers and is banished on Earth. After some time, he's finally worthy, gets his powers back, and then he defeats an antagonistic force. I'll go into what that is later when I do these movie summaries for those of you that are new to Marvel or just need recaps. So, how does Iron Man 1 and the first Thor movie intertwine with this routine? Well, we meet the main character, we meet the person, and then something bad happens, whether that's the terrorists attacking or Thor losing his power. And then they both get their power, get powers, Thor getting his, getting Mjolnir his hammer back, and Iron Man getting his, making his suit, and then they defeat the antagonistic force. Another example from 2016, I believe, is Doctor Strange. So we meet this guy, his name is Stephen Strange, he's a doctor. So that's who he is. The bad thing, he damages his hands and there's no way to fix it. But he hears this place, and apparently they use magic. So he's like, okay, I'll learn this magic so then I can heal my hands. So he develops learning this magic, and that apparently becomes his main power he uses. And then he defeats a main antagonistic force. So it's gone this kind of way when it comes to introducing new characters. But Captain Marvel is not going to do it this way. So Marvel's going to change it and just dive right into the story. So instead of, okay, we meet Carol Danvers, the human pilot, no powers yet, something happens, gets power somehow, and then defeats some kind of evil force. That's not how it's going this time. It's going to dive right into the story to where she's already in space and already has her powers, and we're getting flashbacks to see how did she get up to this point. That is how this movie is going to work, opposed to the other movies within the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, for those of you that don't know what that stands for. Okay guys, that is all I have in this episode. I hope you liked it, so please share it with others, and please give me a like and subscribe. And sayonara.